Hey there, movie fans. Welcome to the Blues of December 2017. My last video of the year. And I have loads of stuff to show you. Things I got on my birthday, on Christmas, and things that I bought myself. But before I'm gonna do that, I want to say something. Since very recently, 3,000 people have subscribed to my channel. 3,000 people. I have never thought about reaching such a number. So I want to thank each and every one of you for subscribing, for supporting, and for taking your precious time to sit down and watch my videos. It really means a lot to me. You guys are the best. Now obviously there will be a contest, but I don't know when. It could be a month from now or 2 months from now. I'm still trying to figure out what to do with the contest. But there will be a contest, so stay tuned for that. Anyway, let me show you what I got. I'm going to show you a couple of books first, and I got all kinds of stuff. Books, VHS tapes, DVDs, Blu-rays. But I'm starting with the books that I got on Christmas actually. This is Stephen King's The Shining. This is the deluxe edition. And here you can see Jack Nicholson right there. Very beautiful edition, this one. This is just a book, of course, the Stephen King book. Really loved it. Nice addition to the to my Stephen King book collection. My very small Stephen King book collection. If you see my my videos of my Stephen King collection, you know how small my book collection is of this man. But beautiful, beautiful set, this one. And I also received this on Christmas. This is The Art of Star Wars: The Last Jedi, with some very beautiful artwork on here. I'll give you a quick look on that. Looks very nice, doesn't it? And I have seen the movie, obviously, and it would be very strange if I haven't seen the movie yet. But when I was walking out of the movie theater, I did not know what to think of it. I needed to let it sink in, but then I realized I was only fooling myself. I was in denial. I was denying the fact that Star Wars: The Last Jedi was a major disappointment to me. And apparently I'm not the only one. Lots of other people were disappointed by this movie. And I absolutely do not like saying that, because I am a big Star Wars fan, and I really want to love it, but I don't. And I think I don't even like it. I mean, there are a few things in the movie that I liked, but there are many things that I did not like. For example, one scene, and I won't go into spoilers, even though I'm sure that the majority of you have already seen it. But one scene where a character, I'm not going to tell you who, but a character is floating in space. I'm pretty sure you know what I'm talking about. And then this character kind of floats back to the ship. I was watching that in disbelief. I thought it was the lamest, dumbest, most ridiculous scene in any Star Wars movie. Even the prequels does not have a scene that stupid. And I know that it was the Force that made this character do that, but I don't care. It was just incredibly lame, and I did not buy it. I did not buy it. So this was, I'm sorry to say, but this was the most disappointing Star Wars movie so far, I thought. I'm afraid to say. And, Rian Johnson, the writer-director, he completely screwed it up, if you ask me. And the idea that he's going to make a brand new Star Wars trilogy frightens me now. Or to use a famous quote from the movies, I have a bad feeling about this. I was really excited when I heard the news of a new trilogy, but now the excitement is completely gone. Although I heard that the trilogy is cancelled, there are rumors that it might be cancelled. I don't know if that's true or not. But perhaps it's a good thing that it's cancelled. But I really want to like it. I really want to love it, but I just don't. However, I will be getting it on Blu-ray, and I will watch it again, and perhaps I might change my mind about it, but I kind of doubt it. Okay, next up are 4 movies that I've gotten on VHS. These are extra rental VHS tapes. I got this for very cheap, so I could not pass these up. The first one is Life Pod. This is the directorial debut of Ron Silver. You can see a picture of him right there. And this is the remake, as it says here, of Hitchcock's Lifeboat. Now the difference is that this movie takes place in space, and it's actually pretty good. I haven't seen it in quite a long time, so looking forward to check this one out. And I'm sure there's a DVD version out there in the United States, but this looks really good. Here's a movie I have never heard of before, or never seen before. This Man Stands Alone, also known as Lawman Without a Gun, with Louis Gossett Jr. He plays a man who goes back to his hometown and gets into trouble with the local policeman there. This takes place during the civil rights movement in the 1960s. But this looks pretty good. Really like the artwork on this, by the way. This is actually a childhood favorite, Baby, Secret of the Lost Legend. There will be a Blu-ray coming out of this movie by Kino, I believe it was. Yeah. Nice little movie there. And the last one I got on VHS is a made-for-TV sci-fi disaster movie, Starflight 1, also known as Starflight, the Plane That Couldn't Land, with Lee Majors, and there's also a very small role of Robert Englund. He makes a very short appearance in this film. I like the artwork on that as well. So 4 VHS tape. I got them for about €2 each, so that's not bad, isn't it? Absolutely not bad. Okay, next up are lots of DVDs that I got on either my birthday or on Christmas. The first one is In Darkness. I don't know much about this, but this is a Polish film, World War II drama. It takes place in 1943. Now, I don't know much about this, but this looks pretty good. Yeah. This one I have seen, Heart of the Warrior. This is a Spanish fantasy comedy. I really enjoyed this. Haven't seen it for a while, by the way. Dead Watch, ex-rental version. I can imagine this was very, very cheap. But I kind of checked it out. Usually these ex-rental DVDs are all scratched up, but this was all right, and it plays pretty well. But this is an excellent World War I horror movie with Andy Serkis over there, Jamie Bell. Yeah, pretty good. Unlawful Entry, terrific thriller with Kurt Russell, Ray Liotta as a dirty cop. What have we here? This is The Bride with White Hair. Martial arts, Hong Kong classic, this one. And here's another one, Burning Paradise, which I've always wanted to see, by the way, by Ringo Lam and Chu Hark. Buck, William Friedkin film, very good, but definitely not for everyone. It's very dark, very bleak, very depressing, I might say, but excellent acting from Ashley Judd and Michael Shannon. Really good. This one I haven't seen, Beyond the Reach with Michael Douglas. I believe he plays a very rich guy who wants to go hunting, and then something happens. Well, no, he accidentally shoots someone, and he tried to kill the only witness there is, and that's this guy over here who was guiding him to the desert. But I think this is going to be a pretty good film, actually. I've seen this last week, Black Christmas, and I actually enjoyed it. It obviously is not as great as the original. The original is a classic, but I did enjoy it. It wasn't bad, the Christmas Black Christmas remake. Bury My Heart at Wounded Knee. This is TV film. HBO TV film, which I still need to check out, but looks good. A Korean, is it Korean? Yeah, Korean martial arts film, Kundu, Age of the Repent. Look at that badass sword over there. A sword, can I call it a sword? Some sort of blade. But this looks very nice, very nice. Here's another Korean martial arts film, Saving General Yang, directed by Ronnie Yu, who also did The Bride with White Hair, and he also directed Bride of Chucky and Freddy vs. Jason. Yeah, he also did that one. Another Korean film, Veteran. Also haven't seen it yet, but it looks promising. This one I have seen a long time ago, Dead Man's Curve. It's a pretty good film with a really good and satisfying twist at the end. Space Station 76. This is some sort of parody to the 1970s space movies and space TV series, like Space 1999, for example. Still need to check this one out. War on Everyone, another one I still need to check out. I heard good things about this. It was directed by the same guy who also did In Bruges and Seven Psychopaths. Truth, one of those films about journalism with Robert Redford and Kate Blanchett. Crocodile, directed by Toby Hooper. Now I heard not so good things about this one, but well, we'll see about it. Maybe I enjoy it. You never know. Hitman with Jet Li. Never actually seen this one. The Nameless. I have seen this one. It's been a long time since I've seen it, but this is a very atmospheric, very dark Spanish horror thriller. Yeah, looking forward to check this one out again. Infection, Japanese horror. Another one is The Bone Snatcher. I heard this was pretty bad, but maybe I'll like it. You never know. If you've seen this movie, let me know what you think. The Bone Snatcher. Is it any good? Next is a stack of Blu-rays that I've gotten either on Christmas or my birthday. Maggie with Arnold Schwarzenegger. This is a zombie movie where his daughter is changing into the living dead. Memories of the Sword is a Korean martial arts film. Ninja with Scott Atkins, excuse me. I was almost stuttering there. And I also got Ninja 2, Shadow of a Tear. Now, I'm a fan of Scott Atkins, so. And also got this one with Scott Atkins, Hard Target 2. Now, I'm not expecting this to be as good or even better than the first one. I mean, the first movie is really great. You know, it still is my favorite Jean-Claude Van Damme movie. But I'm expecting it to be enjoyable for what it is. You know, I'm sure this isn't that bad, right? Nah, can't be. Blood Ties is pretty good film. A very good cast as well. You know, Maya Cotillard, always wonderful to see her. Pretty good film. Two Guns, which is an entertaining body cop movie. I believe this is based on a graphic novel, if I'm not mistaken. 71 Into the Fire, which is a Korean war film. I haven't seen this one for years now. Scout's Guide to the Zombie Apocalypse. Now, I have seen this one before, and I really enjoyed it. Just a crazy horror comedy. And this is something similar, only I haven't seen this one yet. Freaks of Nature. Now, I believe this is the one where humans, vampires, and zombies all live together in perfect harmony, and then aliens are invading the world. Very crazy story, but I'm sure this is gonna be fun. The Grand Budapest Hotel. Now, I have to admit, I'm not the biggest Wes Anderson fan. I've seen all of his films, and to me, there are films that are, they're not the kind of films I could rewatch over and over. But this one, however, I could revisit this one quite often. I really enjoyed this one. I really loved the visual style of it, and it was also very funny. So, really enjoyed it. The Gambler, which I haven't seen yet, and I'm not going to see it until I've seen the original with James Caan. I believe that, the original is only available on DVD, so I need to search for the DVD, watch that one, and then after that watch the remake. And the last Blu-ray that I've gotten here from the stack is The Informant, which is a French thriller from the writer of A Prophet, which is an excellent prison film. And I'm very much looking forward to this. I think of all the Blu-rays of this stack, this is the one I'm going to check out first. I think this is going to be a fantastic film. Okay, now the next stack of Blu-rays I bought myself. Most of them are from the Black Friday deals from Amazon US and Amazon UK. This one I got from Amazon UK, Wings, which is the film I've always wanted to see. But I keep forgetting about it. But then I saw that it was on sale, and I immediately ordered it. This is the first Academy Award winner, 1927-1928, for Best Picture. And it was directed by William A. Wellman, who was one of those directors who lived a life before going into the movie business. He was an aviator, a fighter pilot in World War I. And this is also about a fighter pilot in World War I. And Wellman, he was an incredible guy, incredible filmmaker. And he also made The Oxbow Incident, The Public Enemy, A Star is Born, the original version from 1937. Fantastic director, who started his movie career as an actor, but he really hated to be an actor, so later became a director. But very much looking forward to check this epic film out. silent epic film, Wings. I also got this from the Amazon US Black Friday deal, Dead Calm, which is an upgrade. I think this is an excellent Australian thriller with Sam Neill, Nicole Kidman, Billy Zane, who plays a psycho killer. The Princess Bride. I haven't seen this one for some time. One of those, beloved fantasy films from the 80s. Ouija, Origin of Evil. This is the prequel to Ouija. Ouija. I keep saying Ouija. It's Ouija. But this is a prequel. This is a lot better than the first movie. I love how they done those cigarette smokes at the right top of the screen, which they did deliberately. But really enjoyed it one. Beverly Hills Cop Trilogy. This is an upgrade as well. Yeah, really enjoyed the first two. 3 was not that good, but the first two are pretty good. And speaking of Eddie Murphy, also finally got Trading Places. Wonderful comedy. And I miss the old Eddie Murphy. Eddie Murphy was at his best in the 1980s, both as a comedian, stand-up comedian, and also as a movie star. I mean, he did the best films in his career in the 1980s. Let's be honest about that. And here's another Christmas movie I still need to get. Home Alone 2, Lost in New York. I believe there are 5 or 6 movies in total. There's even one with a dog instead of a kid who is home alone. But I'm not going to get those. I'm just going to keep the first two. The first two are the best ones. And here is Stone Cold, which is a action classic from the early 90s. I love the artwork. Always love the artwork. I love it more than this artwork, to be honest, which is on the other side there. And there's also a poster as well. Now, in my previous update, I talked about a Korean action movie called The Villainess, which reminded me of this film, La Femme Nikita, and it also made me realize that I still needed to get this film, so here it is. And I also grabbed the American remake, Point of No Return, also known as The Assassin, which in some ways is even better than the original, especially the third act with Harvey Keitel as the cleaner. I like that better than the one from the original. I have a weakness for women who can kick ass, a wealthy weakness, mind you. And that's also the reason why I picked this one up, Haywire, with Gina Carano. Now this is a lady who can absolutely kick ass. I mean, she is a mixed martial arts champion. And Steven Soderbergh, the director, was so impressed by her that he created this movie especially for her, and it's a good movie. But it's a shame about the abrupt ending. It seems like it ended in the middle of a scene, and that's too bad. But here is another movie I picked up about a woman who can kick holy ass, Atomic Blonde, with Charlize Theron, stylishly directed by David Leitch, who is the director of John Wick and Deadpool 2. This has an incredible fight sequence that looks like it was shot in one take, but there are several cuts here and there if you look closely. But the way it was shot and the way it was choreographed is amazing. It's an amazing piece of filmmaking there. But I really enjoyed this film. Atomic Blonde. Next one is an Italian horror film, a very obscure Italian horror film, I might say, because I've never heard or seen it. Web of the Spider with Klaus Kinski. It was directed by Antonio Margheriti. He used this English name, Anthony M. Dawson. But this, I believe, is a remake of a film that Margheriti did. Oh, here it is. A color remake of the 1964 Castle of Blood, also directed by Antonio Margheriti. I'm looking forward to check this one out. That was pretty good. And speaking of Italian films, I also grabbed this one. I believe this is now out of print, if I'm correct. So I was right on time. This contains 3 Italian crime films. You have Special Cop in Action, Weapons of Death, and there is a bonus film called The Counselor, not to be mistaken with the Ridley Scott film. But this looks very nice. Also have a booklet there, I believe, or a poster. Lots of stuff in there. Very nice edition from an unknown label. Dorado Films. And I also got this. This is not an Italian film, but this is an American horror film. You know, a very strange, very obscure little film, and it's pretty bad as well, but in a good way, I might say. And it has some really good cast. I mean, just look at the names on here. John Travolta in his first movie role. You know, that was 2 years prior to his breakthrough in Saturday Night Fever. And it also has great makeup, especially at the end. I won't spoil it for you, of course, but the climax is fantastic. You know, Ernest Borgnine said in an interview that he never got paid because this movie was financed by the mafia, and I guess the rest of the cast and the crew didn't get paid either, and none of them had the guts to go to these guys and ask them about their money. I don't blame them, really, but I did enjoy it. It's a very strange film, but enjoyable. And this is the the limited edition slipcase. Here's my number, by the way. You can see there. And there's also this I don't know. Sorry for the glare, but you can see the devil here. Which is slightly embossed, by the way. This image. But yeah, lovely release. Picked up the limited edition set of The Walking Dead Season 6. Now I got this one for a decent price. These things can be very expensive, but they're nice collectibles, you know. Season 8, the one that's currently showing. Well, actually, there's a mid-season stop at the moment. But so far, in my opinion, Season 8 is the worst season yet. And the main problem that I have with it is because it's dragging, you know. It's dragging and dragging and dragging, and it even becomes boring at times. And that can never be the intention of the makers of the series. I think it would have been better if they did 10 episodes per season instead of 16, is it? But yeah, I hope things will get better in the second half of Season 8. And I also hope that Eugene will be killed. I mean, I cannot stand that fucking guy. He annoys the shit out of me. Also picked up the latest season of Game of Thrones, Season 7. I loved it. I thought it was terrific. Absolutely terrific. One of the best seasons so far, without a doubt. A lot better than The Walking Dead, I might say. But I got this one on Black Friday as well for a very good price. This has the digipack there. You can see. I'm very much looking forward to the next season, which is coming out in 2019. God damn it! Why do we have to wait that fucking long? I guess they want to do it right. You know, they want to do it right, so they're gonna take their time, which is, I think, is a good thing, of course. And it's also come with this bonus disc, Game of Thrones: Conquest and Rebellion, an animated history of the Seven Kingdoms. And it also comes with another bonus disc, which is this one, with some 2 behind-the-scenes documentaries. Okay, next up are a few steelbooks, and the first one is Spider-Man Homecoming, which comes with this little magnet there. Very nice little thing, release of this movie. I enjoyed the movie. It's not the best Spider-Man movie. That honor goes to Spider-Man 2, in my opinion. But I thought Tom Holland was great as Spider-Man, and Michael Keaton was terrific as the Vulture. A great thing about that character is that you completely understand why he's doing what he's doing, And I was afraid that this was going to be one of those villains who would regret his actions at the end, which you usually see in a Spider-Man movie, and I always hated that. But fortunately, the Vulture is not like that. Next is Baby Driver, and I thought this was a great film. Great acting, great action, great car chases, great script, great soundtrack. It was just a great movie. And do I need to talk about Kevin Spacey? I mean, some people are boycotting his films, and if they want to do that, go right ahead. They're entitled to it. But I cannot do it. I would still watch his movies. I would still watch Seven and The Usual Suspects and Glengarry Glen Ross and Baby Driver. I mean, he might be a scumbag, but he's a great actor. There's no denying in that. And honestly, I would still enjoy his performances. However, I could never look at him the same way ever again. And also, I cannot boycott the films that Harvey Weinstein was involved in. If I would do that, then I had to get rid of a huge chunk in my collection. I had to get rid of all of the Quentin Tarantino films, the Lord of the Rings trilogy, the Scream movies, Sin City, and many, many more. But I always thought that Weinstein was an asshole. Before this scandal was known, there were stories of how he made the life of some film directors miserable, like Guillermo del Toro, who had problems with him, with Weinstein when he was making Mimic. So, I always thought he was a scumbag, and he deserved to go to prison for the rest of his life for what he has done to those women, And I believe he will go to prison. The things that he has done cannot go unpunished. But in all honesty, I would still watch his movies. Sometimes you have to separate the art from the artist, as they say. Also picked up this steelbook, Kong Skull Island, which I enjoyed a lot. I thought it was wonderful, absolutely wonderful. The scene where Kong is attacking those helicopters is brilliant, absolutely brilliant. And there's a reference to Cannibal Holocaust somewhere in this movie, which is also fantastic. But really enjoyed it. It's a fantastic King Kong movie, without a doubt. And I am looking forward to the next film where Kong is fighting Godzilla. Very curious how they are going to do that, and I'm very curious who the winner is going to be, because there has been a King Kong versus Godzilla movie before in the 1960s, I believe, a Japanese film. And there was no winner between the two monsters in that movie, so don't know how they're gonna do it with the new film. Next is the Digibook of Dunkirk, which is a beautiful release. You have the film there in a bonus disc. And it's an amazing film. Now, if you ask me, this is, next to Logan, the best film of 2017. Yeah, absolute amazing film. Certainly a lot better than Nolan's previous film, Interstellar. And don't get me wrong, Interstellar is a fine piece of work, but there were scenes that could have been cut out, and there were too many explanations that I thought was unnecessary. But with Dunkirk, he delivered an extraordinary film. And I love how he structured the story. You know, it's not in chronological order, and the way he had put it together is brilliant, and it works. It works perfectly. You know, it has stunning cinematography by Hoyte van Hoytema, who also was behind the camera of Interstellar and Spectre. And you have the phenomenal soundtrack by Hans Zimmer. You know, I love how Zimmer's music helps builds the tension of some scenes. You know, it just builds and builds and builds, and you know, he had done it before in Nolan's other films like the Dark Knight. But this is amazing film, absolutely, and a beautiful digibook release. Picked up The Apartment. Such a fine film. This is, in my opinion, one of the best written films of all time. You know, everything works in this film, and I mean everything. And it's a beautiful release as well. It comes with this, you know, hardcover booklet. There is Billy Wilder, the writer-director. You know, loads and loads of information in this little book there. And of course, here's the Blu-ray with a art card of another Arrow release there. And here's another Arrow release. I have this movie already. You know, I have the Scream Factory, but I could not pass this one up. Beautiful artwork, by the way. I really love how they've done that. And the eyes, you know, the eyes are just staring at you. Excuse me. Another fine release with a booklet there. And a poster. No, I'm not going to show the whole thing. I'm pretty sure you know. Oh, pretty sure you know. You've seen it before. Or you already own it yourself, of course. And here's the Blu-ray with some art cards or reproductions of you know, the lobby cards. There's the another card with releases, some other Arrow releases and all that. Yeah, great. Ah, here we go. Wonderful release with loads of extras. And here as well. Yeah. Arrow has done it again, and I'm very much looking forward to their future releases in the next year. And, well, that's it. That's it for my December 2017 update. I wish all of you, a wonderful, healthy, wealthy 2018, and yeah, take care. Thank you for watching, and again, thank you for supporting me and for subscribing to my channel. You know, it's just fantastic. 3,000 subscribers. Who would have thought? But anyway, thank you. See you next year, and yeah, that's it. Bye.